Hey everyone, welcome to my library. My name is Melissa and I have a very exciting video today. I created a tag. I was just thinking about this, I don't know if you guys are like me where you get your best ideas when you're up in the middle of the night, but anyways, I came up with this idea for a tag. And I looked online to see if there was something like it, and I don't think there is. You'll have to let me know though if there is, but I just decided to go for it and just create it, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. And please do it yourself. It's called the Jane Austen Heroes book tag. And basically I came up with a prompt for each hero and anti-hero of some of the most favorite Jane Austen books. I didn't do any for Northanger Abbey or Mansfield Park or like the smaller ones that not a lot of people have read because I just decided to go with the main ones that most people know. So the first one is obviously our favorite, Mr. Darcy. My Mr. Darcy is Colin Firth, hands down. But for this question, I said, pick a book you thought you wouldn't like but ended up loving. Because obviously that's the whole plot of Pride and Prejudice. And so for this question, wow, hair you can see coming. Oh my goodness. So yes, for this question, I went with The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I thought that because this book was first of all a fantasy, which I'm not huge into, but I do love occasionally. Yeah, I didn't think I would love this because it's a fantasy. I also didn't think I would love this because it's also classified as a children's book, and I don't read a lot of children's literature like nowadays, you know? So I didn't know if I would love this, but I ended up so loving this story. It is so fun. It is the most easy to read Lord of the Rings tale. The characters are so endearing. Obviously, we love Bilbo. But honestly, my favorite character in this, besides Gandalf, is Thorin. He plays such a major role in this book, and his character is just so admirable. And his last lines in this book made me cry. So anyways, yes, I loved this book. Didn't think I would, but I did. Okay, so a favorite anti-hero of ours is Mr. Collins. Pick a book you said nope to. So you DNF'd. So for this prompt, I went with The Kiss Thief by L.J. Shen. I tried to read this for Smutathon maybe a year ago because I had heard great things and I just could not get into it. I thought it was going to be great because it's an age gap and it's a forced marriage. And it just sounds kind of like broody and fun, and I was here for it, but it just got a little too, the consent was questionable, and also the plot was a little too, I don't know, it just happened too fast for me. It was very insta-lovey, so for that reason I DNF'd. So the next prompt is Wickham. Pick a book with a misleading cover. So for that prompt, I picked Beach Read by Emily Henry. This was actually discussed in a live show recently with Jen from the Book Refuge, talking about covers that might be misleading. I think it was actually about historical romance, but anyways. Yeah, so even the title too, it makes you think that it's gonna be very light and fun and just a cute rom-com. But there are some very deep, dark elements to this book. And I think it's talked about enough, honestly, that you probably know that going in. But just in case you don't, yes, I think the cover and the title is a little misleading. And there is some heavy, heavy topics discussed in this book. So yeah, misleading cover. Okay, so the next one is Mr. Knightley. Pick a childhood favorite that has stuck with you through thick and thin. I love Mr. Knightley. I read Emma in preparation for the new movie that came out, and I just adored him. He's one of my favorite heroes ever. He sticks by Emma and adores her for, you know, all of her quirky flaws. And anyways, he's so wise too, and he teaches her so much. So yeah, I thought this was a really good prompt for a childhood favorite. So mine is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I love this edition too. This is my Puffin in Bloom edition. But yeah, this book is so good, and I loved the movie growing up as well with Winona Ryder in it. But yeah, this is so easily readable when you're a child or when you're an adult, and I just adore it with all my heart. Actually, my favorite heroine in this book, Meg, I really love her character and the stuff that she goes through with her marriage, which actually was discussed more in the movie that just came out. It just was really relatable. And so anyways, yeah, I loved Meg upon my recent reread of this book. So anyways, yes, this is so cute too. Life and love are very precious when both are in full bloom. I love it. So yes. The next one is Edward Ferrars. Pick a book that keeps coming back to your mind that you can't stop thinking about. Because obviously in Sense and Sensibility, Edward is someone who's, you know, appears and disappears for a lot of the book, and then, you know, is obviously thought about constantly. So anyways, I thought this was a good prompt for that. So for that one, I decided to go with The Aftermath by Ridian Brooke. This book was so good. I loved it. So I read this. You guys are gonna think I'm such, I don't know, like that I only care about reading books if they are being turned into movies. That's not the case, but I mean, it's always fun to watch a movie after you've read the book, right? But anyways, yeah, this movie came out maybe 2 years ago with Keira Knightley. I'll show the like poster of it here. It's really good. You should check it out if you haven't heard of it. But the story of this book is, it's post World War II, just right after World War II is over. And a couple has to go to Germany to help rebuild and foster friendship with the Germans. They're a British couple. And so it follows them moving into this mansion, and the mansion is actually owned by a German who was classified as a traitor. He didn't actually serve. Anyways, yeah, so it follows Rachel, the main girl in this, who ends up sort of having an affair with this guy that owns this mansion, and, you know, is forced to have these people live with him. So yeah, it does deal with infidelity in this, but I was just so captivated by the writing in this. It's very mysterious and sexy, and just, yeah, it just kept me turning pages. And it's kind of short, so it was just really good. If you're looking for like a really intriguing World War II historical fiction book, I would recommend this one, and also the movie as well. The next hero we have is Willoughby. I mean, he's anti-hero. We don't stand Willoughby. Pick a book that sounded so good but ended up disappointing you. So for that one, I decided to go with, and I don't own it. Oh, I feel bad. I'm honestly scared to share this because I feel like, especially if Jen or Crystal watches this. Anyways, it's The Highwayman by Kerrigan Byrne. I tried. Yeah, I read this book. I listened to it on audio, and honestly, that might have been my mistake because it was on Audible Escape, and that's why I did it that way. The narrator honestly just kind of took it out of the story for me. His imitation of Farah's accent was just so strange. But other than that, I felt like there was a surprise element to this book that was pretty obvious from the very beginning. I mean, maybe that's what it's supposed to be, but it also just, I don't know, I felt like that was the whole plot device of it. and I just wasn't buying it. Anyways, I ended up giving it a 2 stars. I hear the next one in the series is really good. I might give it another shot just because maybe it was just that plot line that just didn't really work for me or not, but we'll see. But yeah, super unpopular opinion. A lot of people love this book. The last hero that we have to talk about is Captain Wentworth from Persuasion. So he is a hero that I think is very unsung. You know, he's very quiet, and he is not, you know, to the level of fame as Mr. Darcy. So anyways, I decided for him to go with pick an underrated book that deserves more love, because I honestly loved Captain Wentworth. I loved Persuasion. I loved the second chance romance in this book, and the letter he writes Anne at the end. Oh, so good, so good. So anyways, for this prompt, I went with this underrated book. I've talked about this before, but this is The Reckless Oath We Made by Bryn Greenwood. So good. So it is about an autistic boy named Gentry who can only communicate, has found that the only way that he can communicate is through speaking in Middle English, which is like what knights used to speak in medieval times. So he talks that way even though he's living in a contemporary world. And he decides he's gonna be the champion for Z, the girl in this book. She is down on her luck. She has a mother that is a hoarder, and she has to deal with that, as well as a sister that ends up going missing. And so even though she's very resistant to Gentry at first, being kind of almost a stalker to her, they end up going on this adventure, not an adventure, a quest, I guess, to find her sister. And this is a very dark book. It deals with a lot of dark elements. So just know that. It's not like a fun, rompy romance. It is a dark love story. But I loved it. I loved it so much. She is the author of All the Ugly and Wonderful Things, which I think is way more hyped than this book. But I gave both of those books 5 stars. So if you're looking for a really, really different love story and a really captivating plot with a character, specifically Gentry, who honestly I will never ever forget. He needs to be protected at all costs. But yeah, so this book was really good. I highly recommend it. So yes, that was the Jane Austen Heroes book tag. Please do this tag if you are a Jane Austen fan, or, you know, if you're just intrigued by the questions. I guess I'll specifically tag 3 people, and it's okay if you know, don't do it. It's fine. I don't want to put pressure on you, especially because I know tags aren't as viewed as other videos, so it's, you know, it's kind of whatever. But I'll tag Krista from Books and Jams. She's another major Jane Austen fan. I'll tag Tia from Tia and All the Books, and I'll tag Lourdes from Chapters We Love. I just saw her talk about Pride and Prejudice in her Get to Know the Romance Reader tag. So anyways, I thought this would be fun for you guys if you have any inkling to want to do it. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and comment. I reply to every single comment. And please subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want to see more from me. And I will see you guys in another video. Bye.